Welcome to the Big O Show.
Hey, feeling good, like I should. When in circle, walk around the neighborhood. Feeling blessed, never stressed. Got that sunshine on my Sunday best. Yeah.
Hello and welcome back to the Big O Show podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Anka. This is a sports talk and motivational podcast every Monday morning. You can tune in for a motivational message to get your week started off on the right note. And then on Wednesdays, you can tune back in for a midweek sports update to give you all the latest news and updates in the world of sports. This is episode 13 of the Big O Show podcast. As always, I greatly appreciate your support. And if you do like the show, please leave it a review. Please leave a review on Spotify, Apple Podcast, iHeartRadio, or wherever you're listening to this. And if you could, just share it with one person. I would greatly appreciate that. That's the only way this podcast and any podcast works. And I truly, truly appreciate it. If you missed last week's episode 12, I had one of my dear friends from college who actually ran cross country at the University of South Alabama and is currently the Associate Director of Fan Engagement with Baylor University. And that's my dear friend, Derek Westbrook. He was on the podcast, just giving a little recap about his sports stories, but also just his perspective on the world of college athletics, which I thought was very applicable, especially given the time that we are in. Now, if you heard last week's episode, or if you happen to know Derek Westbrook, it does not take long to realize that he is an extremely driven person and a person that thrives off of not only fan engagement, hence his job, but just human interaction in general. He's probably the best person that I know in my whole life that networks and is extremely great at networking with people. And that's kind of what my message is going to be about today, is just the power of networking. You know, I think of this quote, and it's from the late, great Zig Ziglar, and says, "You can have anything and everything in life you want if you will just help enough people get what they want." And, you know, I think of that, and I think of, you know, helping people without any expectation of a return and just doing the right thing, being a good person. And I think there's power in that. I think there's a lot of good that can come from that. And I think, you know, nobody gets to where they are in life without the help of others. So you can think about the power of networking and the power of helping one person, you know, that one person that you went to high school with, that, you know, may not help you directly, may know somebody, may have an uncle or a cousin or someone that eventually will help you. And I don't say to help everybody with the hopes that one day they're going to return the favor, but just helping people in general. You know, you think of the golden rule, you know, treat others the way you want to be treated. And, you know, I think that's applicable now more than ever, given the current circumstances we're in. But I think, you know, you'll get good if you put out good, if you help people, and if you continue to meet people. And, you know, that's why I was talking about Derek Westbrook. You know, he's one of those people, he's kind of like my grandpa too. You know, he's never met a stranger. He could have a conversation with a brick wall, you know. And what I mean by that is just that, you know, he goes out of his way to meet people. And some of it's just him being an extreme extrovert. Some of it's him being really sociable. And, you know, that's not everybody, and I get that. But there's power in knowing people, and there's power in just being nice and helping people in any way that you can. If this situation that we are in this world has not taught me anything else, you know, it's taught me perspective. You know, it's taught me to appreciate what I have, because a lot of people don't have the same support system. A lot of people don't have the same things that I have, or that, you know, my neighbors have, or that my friends have. But we all have enough. We all have something of value. And, you know, I also think of Gary Vee, who is an extreme entrepreneur. Not sure if anybody listening to this knows who he is. But you can Google him. He does use a little bit of strong language, just FYI, but his message is always clear. But anyways, he wrote a book called Jab, 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 Right Hook. And what that whole book is about, it's just about giving. And if the opportunity ever presents itself one day for you to give a right hook, to ask for something in return, then do it. But if not, just keep jabbing. Eventually your right hook's going to come. If you're a boxer, if you've ever boxed before, they don't just throw one punch. They don't just sit there and hit with their left over and over and over and over and over and expect to win. And you can't just sit there and keep doing the same thing every single day and expect to win. It takes a village. It takes many people. It takes networking with people, using your resources for good, and eventually asking for help. We're not meant to be in this world alone. We're not meant to do this thing called life alone. There's power in networking. There's power in friends, and there's power in helping people. Go out there today and make today the best day of your life. I'll see you guys Wednesday.